I
Okay.
wanted to offer him a chance to have you clap back at Mob James, but I was like, if you don't get back to me, I'm just going to do this interview myself. So he
Hey,
didn't get
hey,
back to me.
hey.
I don't think he saw it. I left it in the comments, so I don't
Oh,
think he
okay.
saw it. But so what's going on is there was an episode where Mob James was talking about Vanilla. This interview, it's the one where he's talking about Vanilla Ice, and he goes on later to say that Jerry Heller's bodyguards got punked by Suge Knight and his people. Now some people are confusing Jerry Heller's bodyguards to be you guys, EAZY-E'S
Right,
bodyguards.
right,
Were
right,
you guys,
right.
and that's just half of it. So were you guys Jerry Heller's bodyguards?
Yeah, we were Jerry Heller bodyguards, but let me straighten out the whole ordeal for your fans and shit, you know.
Okay.
Like I called my godfather, Mike Klein, and asked him about this here situation and stuff. And are you familiar who Lonzo Williams are? Lonzo Williams?
No. Wait,
He's from
Alonzo Williams?
he from the LA Wrecking Crew with Dr. Dre. He do his own show, Lonzo Williams East Coast West Coast show.
It sounds so familiar, but
Well,
I
this
couldn't
same
put a face
question
to it.
came up on his show with Mob James, and Lonzo had Mike Klein and Mob James on the same show to talk about this. See, Mob James is not lying about running up in Ruthless doing whatever the fuck they wanted to do with Suge and stuff. You know, if you listen to the
Yeah.
Lonzo Williams show with Mike Klein and Mob James talking about it, because I checked it out after Mike Klein told me about it, and I was like,
Yeah.
okay, I see what's up. You see, that was before we showed up. That's how we got the job, because Mob James and Suge and his boys was running up in Ruthless doing whatever the fuck they want to do. So when we showed up, we didn't give a fuck about nobody. We hated everybody. We wanted to fight any motherfucking body that wanted to fight us, whatever. It didn't fucking matter.
Right.
And when we got the gig, they had got rid of those guys that was there. They was actually scared of Suge. And we wasn't afraid of no motherfucking body.
So
So
the
when
bodyguards
they
were afraid.
say
The
what?
bodyguards were afraid. The bodyguards were afraid of Suge,
Yeah,
the
they was
original.
actually they was afraid of Suge, because when Suge came in with all his niggas, you know, set the whole fucking office down, turned the fucking phone off. Mob James is not lying about that. Them niggas did that shit. But when we showed up, we stopped all of that shit. And when Suge came up in there on us, Mob James wasn't with him, because I would have remembered him. Because every time Suge came, he had different niggas with him trying to show strength, that he was deep. He had plenty of
I
niggas.
heard that Suge wasn't that tough. I heard it was the people around him. That's what I've heard.
Yeah, the people around him was really sick and tough, but the motherfuckers around Easy, he was the same way. We were sick and tough and crazy as fuck too, you know.
Yeah.
So when Suge ran up in that bitch, and we came out on him and all his niggas, posted him up, dared him to touch a phone, and you can't run up in this bitch no more. If you do, you got us to fucking deal with. And so,
Good.
and then Jerry Heller finally came out at the back and told Suge, don't ever come back to my office again unless you have an appointment. And you never going to get an appointment, so don't ever come back here. So we like rushed them out, you know, shuffled them out. You know, it wasn't really too much physical shit, but we pushed them. Like, let's go. You got to get the fuck up out of here. We pushed them all out. And outside, you never see, but it was always 4 to 5 snipers outside of Ruthless when Mike Klein came up. If they'd have started some shit in their gunplay, whatever, they'd have never made it to their car. They'd have got nailed by them 5 snipers. Nobody knew about this. They was always there, but you never could see them. They was there, man. That's how Mike Klein came to town with Ruthless. And the Israeli newspaper with a sword in one hand and the enemy head in the other hand, and he's standing on his ass like that. And when he saw that picture, he kind of bagged down. And let me tell you this too. Now, I didn't tell this story, and I don't think Mob James told this story, because he was still in the trenches when this came out, just like me. there was a book came out called Half Gun Will Travel, The Rise and Fall of Death Row Records. On page 52, they talk about that. They talk about Suge Knight and his boys run up in Ruthless and do whatever the fuck he wanted to and just stop. But Eazy-E hired two weightlifters named Big Mike and Big Animal to stop him from running up in there. But it was more than just me and Big Mike. There was Big Rob and a white boy named Duke. He bodyguarded for Rat, that crazy white boy, you know. And it was actually 4 of us that worked there to stop Suge from running up in there. And that book talks about it on page 52 or 54. I don't remember what page. Somebody told me about it. And so we wasn't the first one to start even talking about this. Somebody else put that out many years ago because nobody stepped to me and MD, but one guy in our reign of terror that ever stepped to me and MD, and he wasn't no bodyguard. He was a rapper.
And what happens with him?
It was a rapper that stepped to me and MD, and you wouldn't believe who it was. I'm gonna tell you who it was.
Who was it? Who was it?
It was
Tell us.
It was Be Real from Cypress Hill. That nigga stepped to me and Big Mike and all the homies, man.
What did you guys do?
That's what I'm finna tell you, man. Okay. Eazy-E was down in Santa Monica doing some shit, right? And he invited he invited Be Real down there. I don't know if he invited the whole clique or whatever, but I know Be Real was there and shit, right? And so Eazy had a lot of bodyguards and we didn't get along. See, the guys that Suge used to punk up in Ruthless was still, you know, with Eazy. And we didn't really like that, man. So we would they would be in their little group and we would be in our little group. And so they was inside watching out for Eazy while we was outside, like doing crowd control and shit, you know, like let them have it, whatever. Okay. Yeah. Be Real sister is a big fan of Eazy-E and she wanted to meet him.
Okay.
So she went over there to see could she meet with Eazy. And the bodyguard over there told her, go on up there. There he is right there. She was like, no, you should like walk me up there. She was saying something of that nature. And she wouldn't do it. So he grabbed her by the arm and snatched her and threw her up there with Eazy. And he hurt her on her shoulder and shit, Marjay. He hurt her. She went back to Be Real and told Be Real, she was crying. And he was like, what's wrong? She said, one of Eazy-E bodyguards put his hand on me and hurt me like that and shit, right? So we just hanging out, kicking it and shit, right? All of a sudden, here come Be Real. We was like, oh, man, here come Be Real, man. We get ready to meet Be Real and shit, man. We always wanted to meet this nigga, man. Oh, man, here he come. I can't believe it, man. We was just jumping inside, butterflies inside, getting ready to meet this nigga. And he walked up with his hand in his motherfucking coat pocket. We wasn't thinking nothing about that. We getting ready to meet the legendary, famous ass Be Real and shit, man, you know? Yeah. And then when he came up there, and he walked up on us and said to me and MD, which one of you motherfuckers put your hands on my sister? Whew, that changed the whole game in the air right there, man. Now I got to go to beast mode. This nigga up here with his hand in his pocket, I can't let him get his hand out of his pocket now. He's a big fan and I love this nigga, but, you know, I can't, you know, let him do nothing crazy and shit, man. And then, all of a sudden, Big Mike said, ain't nobody over here put their hands on your sister. And he would say, well, my sister told me one of Eazy-E bodyguards put his fucking hands on him like that. And then I'm not saying nothing because I'm ready to do whatever now. You know, he done changed the game when he came over there and sucked all the air out of the room. And I'm loving this nigga and I'm getting ready to get into it with this nigga, right? So Big Mike say, I tell you what, Be Real. Go get your sister and have her point the nigga out. Be Real said, okay, I'll do that. Be Real went and got his sister and brought her back. And she pointed at one of them niggas that was with Big John Wayne. I ain't going to call his real name because, you know, I ain't going to do that. Like, reason why I call him John Wayne, that's what them Bone Thugs and Harmony niggas called him, John Wayne. And the Tokyo Twins called him Black Bart. He was one of his boys, but I ain't gonna call his real name and shit.
Okay.
And
You gotta tell
she
me his
pointed
name.
at one of them niggas. And Big Mike say, be real. Them niggas ain't really with us, man. You know, this is our squad right here, man. You know, we would never disrespect your sister. Matter of fact, we wouldn't disrespect no woman, you know, like that and shit. And so Be Real says, that right. So Be Real went over there and Be Real.
Yeah.
And Be Real handled his business, but it ain't my story to tell. So, you know, Be
Yeah.
Real have to tell you that story himself. But
Did
Be
anybody
Real
get
is
shot?
the only nigga that ever stepped to me and MD in our reign of terror and shit, man. But it all worked out, man. You know, that's true spit, man. Be Real, I know he remember that shit, man. And again, I'm not sure if it was his niece or his sister, but I'm almost positive it was his sister, man. And other than that, man, ain't no nigga ever stepped to me and MD and shit, man. Cause you know, like motherfuckers didn't want to fuck with me and MD. With them two niggas, nobody wanted to fight unless they had to, you know.
I could see that. I could see that from the pictures. Even now today. Okay, so that's that story. Now Mob James went on to say that they robbed EAZY-E. That EAZY got away, but that they robbed him.
If they robbed EAZY-E, that was before we showed up. Ain't nobody robbed EAZY-E on our watch. Nobody. You can do the history. Ain't nobody never got beat down on me, Big Rob, and MD watch. Ain't nobody never got robbed on our watch. Never. You can check the history. Anybody we work with, whatever. They said when them niggas were with me, I feel safe as hell. Nobody robbed us, man. But if they robbed EAZY, it had to be them other niggas that we replaced. But it didn't happen on our watch.
Got it. And you guys were kind of damage control because they hired you to stop getting punked by Suge.
Yes.
So
right.
that's really interesting. Yes. Yes. All right. So you guys, Mob James, everyone that saw that Vlad interview, EAZY-E'S bodyguards were nowhere present if he got robbed, and they never got
our crew. It was the other crew before us. It wasn't us. And
right.
And like I say, Rob James, he's not lying about what they did in Ruthless.
Right.
We wasn't security there then. We came after them niggas and shit, man. You know.
Okay.
So yeah, you know. And like I said, you can check out the Lonzo Williams show. Him and Lonzo, I think it's Mob James versus Mike Klein or something shit like that. You have to look it up, and then you will see the whole interview on his show on what really happened down and stuff. And like at the end, Mob James and Mike Klein were laughing and stuff, you know, talking about we're glad we didn't run up on each other. You know, they made it funny and shit, because that's how it was, you know. Like, nah, man, like, see, Mob James don't know this. If Suge would have came to us the day before EAZY did, we'd have been with him trying to take Ruthless and shit. We were just trying to get on with any motherfucking body, man. Me and Big Rob, and we was like the meanest motherfucking bouncers in Hollywood. You come in our club, they tell you don't fuck around up in here. There's two dudes up in here will put something on your ass. We were sending a message. And EAZY just so happened to find out about us first, man, you know. And then whoever we got with, we said we're going to give them nothing but the utmost loyalty that we could give. And just so happened, EAZY-E came to us first. That's why we wasn't rolling with Death Row and shit, man. It wasn't but two sides. It was either Ruthless or Death Row. It's like Alpha Omega. All there is and all there is to come and nothing in between, but forever up and forever forward. You know, that was it, man. Alpha, Omega, Ruthless, and Death motherfucking Row.
Someone in the comments said, ha ha ha, that's right, big animal, big homie. His name is Big Who. Big Who. I don't know if you know who that is. Who? It's like Big H-O-O. I can't, you know, my vision's not the greatest. I'm going to wear my glasses.
It could be Big Julio. He's a big Mexican, biggest Mexican I ever seen. I ain't know Mexicans get that big. But maybe Who is short for Julio, maybe. I don't know. But if it is, that's a big-ass Mexican, man. He's like,
So
he was like 6'6", 350. Mexicans don't get that big, dog. And he
yeah, he
was
says
full-blooded Mexican, daddy Mexican and his mama Mexican. Wasn't no mixed blood nowhere. He was just
I
a
think it's
freak.
him. I think it's him. He says his name is Julio, my brother.
That's him. That's him. That's
Yeah.
motherfucking Julio, dog. I told you that. That's a
Well,
big
I'm showing him right
mean-ass
now.
Mexican right there, boy. He used to have my back all the time. Like he know, yeah, I can see like Julio worked with me and Big Rob. He know what kind of motherfuckers we were. He can tell you more shit about me than I can. You should interview Julio.
Well, he's
Yeah.
welcome. He's welcome to join the interview if he wants to send a request. We can have him chime in.
Yeah.
That would
Fucking
be
Julio,
cool.
man. So that's who that is. I know that's the only Julio I know. Big Hoop.
That's
Oh
cool.
yeah,
Yeah.
and Julio had a cousin named Big George, another big crazy Mexican. He was a Mexican cowboy. Always wore cowboy hats, cowboy boots, cowboy belts and shit. And he could get
Yeah.
down too, man.
What
Yeah.
I think Mexicans call them paisas, so I'm not sure. Okay, he said next time he'll chime in. Okay.
Okay, no
And then
problem.
also,
Yeah.
I don't know if we've spoken about this before, but since this is the topic, I think we might have. But we were working on an EAZY-E, another EAZY-E film. Sorry, I can't speak. EAZY-E film, the true story of EAZY-E.
Right.
Now, we feel like in the movie, the popular one that everyone loves. What's the name of that movie again? I forget. But they lied and said that Easy, they showed Easy getting beat up or something like that.
In
And
the
I guess that
movie,
was
yeah, that shit ain't never happened in the movie
yeah.
because, that's one reason why, I always, I kind of came out of retirement. They would have did the movie right,
Easy does
would have
it.
had some of Ruthless record stuff in the end. I wouldn't even have nothing to say. Ain't nothing I could tell you, Marjay. But they told nothing but the story that they wanted to tell. And what's so fucked up, it was a good story, but it wasn't true. It wasn't real. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? If they'd have
Yeah.
kept it 100, I couldn't
It
even
would
be
have been good.
talking to you right now. But it's like Perry Mason. You opened the door when you didn't do the right thing and cross-examining and do all the right things you're supposed to do. So now you open the door for me to defend myself because I'm from Ruthless and shit, man. And he made us look like bitches, man. Like I had got calls, my niece got calls and shit about
Oh
man, they
man.
come out, they beat up EAZY-E and y'all didn't do nothing about it. I was like, no, niece, that didn't happen, but that's what everybody was saying. And she would show me the post where everybody was saying your uncle is a
Straight
punk
out
and a bitch
of
and all
Compton.
this
That's the
kind of
name of
shit.
it. Straight out of
That kind
Compton.
of pissed me off and shit, man. And like I watched
Wow.
Straight Outta Compton twice. I watched it one time in shock, and I watched it a second time to make sure I would never watch it no more. But I always loved the part when Ice Cube do No Vaseline.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I gotta watch that part, dog. Oh
Oh
man,
my
that is
gosh.
that. Besides that shit, Game did 100 miles and running. That's man. No Vaseline is the best diss song ever made in the world.
Man,
That's my personal opinion, though. Somebody else might say something else, but
the real
man,
meta F and G's, the real meta F and G's. I like that one, but I will say it's kind of silly. One of my favorite lines is when they call Death Row Boot Camp.
yeah. Real Come to See the G's is good too, but
Oh
when
yeah.
No Vaseline, man,
I gotta
it's
listen to
just
No Vaseline again. I remember it, but it's kind of weird.
even the niggas at Ruthless was jamming that when it came out. MC
Yeah,
Ren, they were like, damn man, we got to get this nigga. Listen, he got us, man. He got us and shit, man. We got to get this nigga, man. They was like, yeah, we got to come back with some powerful shit. Yeah, man, they was playing that shit around Ruthless. I heard it
well,
myself
that's
and
the
shit,
beauty of
man.
being a real hip hop artist. We can appreciate whatever sounds good.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
A beat will come back to
Yeah.
something else. But
Yeah. And another part in there was true when Dr. Dre helped Eazy-E punch that song in 13 hours. That shit was true right there because Dr. Dre did orchestrate Eazy-E little voice, and that's where that come from. You can actually say Dr. Dre created the monster Eazy-E, man.
So
That's where that little squeaky voice came from.
were you and did you have a relationship with Dr. Dre at all?
Oh yeah, I had a nice relationship with Dr. Dre. That's why I talk about that fool in my interviews all the time, because I feel like I have a right to talk about Dre and shit, man. You know, I
Okay.
bodyguarded for Dre and stuff. You know, when we went to New York, hang out for 5-5 Freddy and shit, man. And then when we blew up half of Hollywood with that Appetite of Destruction video, I was his bodyguard on the set right there and stuff. And then later on, he went off to death row and stuff. Then he started doing his own thing and shit, man. You know, it was like
When's the
he was.
last time you spoke to Dr. Dre?
Say what?
When's the last time you spoke to Dr. Dre?
Last time I talked to Dr. Dre, I helped him put NWA back together, and I was pissed because he
Okay,
didn't call
that
me
was a
for a
long time
job.
ago.
Let me tell you
Okay.
how this went down. Okay,
Okay.
Dr. Dre was working at the studio across the street from a club that I work at, and
Yes.
when he wanted to take a break, he would come over, have a drink with me. His wife was also with him and stuff. You know, I met his wife and shit back then, which is not his wife anymore, I heard. But anyway, they would come over, kick it with me. His favorite drink is Long Island iced tea. He always get one. It's always on the house, his first one. So one night, we were just chopping it up and shit, man, you know. And he was like, man, I would sure like to put NWA back together, but it'll never work, though. And I was like, why? He said, because MC Ren don't smoke weed no more. And MC Ren best rap come from when he's smoking weed. When he became a Muslim, he stopped smoking weed. Then I said, well, Dr. Dre, well, you can put Ruthless back together then, and that's all it takes. I like, what do you mean? I like, man, MC Ren smoked weed like a freight train. He like, no, man, no, he don't. Since he became a Muslim, he don't. I said, man, let me tell you something.